winner of this match puts themselves in pole position, puts 1 foot in the final 4. Oh, how is that dry? How's your luck, Dave? He's hit this break about as good as he could. Watch this cue ball, straight line. Best break he's hit by a mile. And he's had a few rattle off jaws, he's had a couple sit over pockets. And nothing goes down a hole, which does mean first opportunity goes to Jon McAllister and Conor Treacy.
That was tough, wasn't it? How good was that break to be dry? Tough one, but that's what you have to take in this game. And these yellows are very good, apart from one. And I say hesitantly one, because I think the one nearest the right centre might just about squeeze in, and if it does, then every single yellow here is good, although that's not the best of first shots, but because they have one over top right, it shouldn't be a problem for them.
Yeah, it was a cute little shot from Jon to open things up. Options here, really. I think you're absolutely right. The yellow goes past the red. They could take it now.
Depends how they see it, because the 8-ball doesn't go down the table. So normally you'd be thinking to clear the yellows, the yellow bottom left now, then the one right centres your connection back up the table, but then you're coming into the 8-ball from above. And I think that's why they're leaving the 2 yellows down the table for the last 2.
Oh, interesting. You heard that. Jon McAllister just suggested the one on the break line to the right, the one they're about to play, is last ball.
I think he was pointing at the one right centre, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they need to get onto the one bottom left and screw back to above the straight on it. Needs to stop straight. Yeah, that's straight enough. And now they just have to screw back. Yeah, see where Jon's pointing, because if they leave it low, the cue ball's going away from the 8-ball, and as we've already said, doesn't go down the table. I'm not sure they got there.
Yeah. I think they can just kill it in and then cut it back to the middle left. It's not perfect, but I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, they were okay. They could just pinch, well, they had to pinch the pocket to beat the red anyway, so it was fine.
Classy clearance from McAllister and Treacy, and dry breaks get punished in this game. How often do we see it? Tough one to take for Higgins and McNamara, who've not played a shot in open table at least. They hit one fantastic break, find themselves 1-0 down. Cheers.
Yes, tough sport when that happens. It really is.
Isn't it just?
Especially when they're up against a couple of guys that are playing lights out pool right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not easy to get chances. Conor Treacy on the first break for his partnership. Gets away with one. Cue ball spinning like a top in the middle of the table. It is going to be dry. And Dave McNamara out like a greyhound out the traps there, wasn't he? Couldn't wait to get to the table.
Yeah, Conor apologises for mishitting the break and not going in off. But I don't think there's any need to apologise there, because Deej will be over the moon with the chance he's just been handed. This is a really good layout for him. We'll have to play a plant on the yellows, you feel, to bottom right, but that looks comfortable enough. And then the rest are all there.
Yeah, I don't think you can grumble at these. Gareth Higgins, Dave's biggest fan right now.
Work these all through really well. Just careful. The reason I say that he's worked them through well, he just has to be careful on this shot. If he tops this off the bottom cushion and it flicks the red, he could end up snookered. And that's why he was just stopped in his tracks for a second, just to make sure he was missing the red.
Yeah, I really like that from Dave. Very, very solid. And a little bit of a ripple as well, which is always nice to hear.
Yeah, they got a little bit of support with him tonight. Have Deej and Gaz. And so has Jon and Conor. Just a little bit of support in their corner. Big match, of course, this one, as it always is. Who takes complete control of this group? Deej turns to cheerleader. Pat on the back. Come on, Gaz, you got this.
Cut break. The break of choice for Gareth Higgins. It's a punchy break, isn't it? But it's not successful. Wry smile. Nothing doing here. Doesn't get much into it in terms of power, but that's not really the purpose.
And he's left a layout here where there's only one bad red and you're going to nudge it open first shot. I mean, if you were ball in hand, this is probably where you'd put it. Now the reds are perfect.
Yeah, you really fancy Jon McAllister here.
Yeah.
Sort of finish he's made a career out of, really.
Yeah, just working out how he wants to transition from the bottom to the top. If he leaves those two reds in the top now, assuming the one that he's nearest to doesn't pass the other one to top left, then you're probably playing on it top right, or you're trying to get up to play it in the middle. So you will need a really good transitional shot up the table. You won't want to leave. You won't want to sort of leave distance to the one top left, because then you've got to play around with the yellow and the 8-ball to try and get on the other red. So that's why he's taken a few extra seconds. It looks absolutely simple, but he does need to play one good shot here. And that doesn't look the best angle. Could have done with being a few inches lower down the table, and then he could have just drifted into a nice area. If he's just off straight the wrong way, it actually is very awkward.
Yeah.
If he's absolutely straight, he might be able to just screw back through the yellows here. Oh, he is just off straight, but probably just off straight enough that he can force this. Yeah, he was. Couldn't get as far up as he would have liked, but it's still fine. Slightly hampered queuing, but it's one of those that he can really queue through this one nicely on and off the cushion. And of course it's not hampered at all because he's a left-handed player.
It's amazing how much you see the game in your own handedness.
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
It's the, as I mentioned at the start of the frame, it's the finish of which Jon has built a very successful pool career. One built on excellent cue ball control and great technique. He's a very, very good cueist, and it serves him well over a variety of cue sports. He's a busy boy, he plays an awful lot. Yet to win his first Ultimate Pool trophy. You feel it'll come at some point.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great resume in the black ball world. I say a former world champion and already been in another world final as well. I mean, I know there are an awful lot of world titles these days, especially in the black ball world, but he's been in 2 finals, winning one of them, as well as many, many pro titles.
There is one Ultimate Pool trophy in the household, though. His partner Danielle in the house, a Women's Series champion. She'll be in action this weekend as part of Ultimate Pool Last Woman Standing.
Yeah, and a good run for Danielle this past weekend as well, all the way through to the semis. Took a very impressive performance from Kirsty Davies to knock her out. She's also warmed up for the last woman standing with a couple of 6 red shootout victories in her run as well. Just getting a flavour for that, because we will see some of those this coming weekend.
Yeah, it can't hurt, can it?
Key shot now. Does the yellow in the middle of the 3, does it go top left? Because if it does, you can just drift in. If not, you've got to screw out for it. It can just go wrong, but you don't expect it to. That's absolutely fine. So much margin of error.
Yeah, they do make the game look very simple, these two. And they have been allowed to so far tonight. The hill awaits. And on top of it they go, 1 frame away from victory and 1 foot in the final 4. Dave McNamara already to the table, eager to start to make amends for his pairing. It looks like he's lining up a cut break. I think that was why he came to the table so early, just to get himself sort of set for it. It's not something he does an awful lot of.
He will do it, though.
Yeah, but the reason why, of course, is because he recognises the situation. Not much time on the clock, 3-1 down. It's time to try and push for a golden break. 8-ball was moving.
It really was tracking as well. I thought he had it for a second.
Yeah, I think he did.
Have a watch of this. It does start tracking towards the right centre. There. Ooh.
He knew.
Nice smile from John as well, who was keeping a close eye on it. John's now at the table. Well, you've got to ask whether the right thing to do here is to take the finish on. It's a tough one. It really is. And when you're 2 ahead with 5:42 left, do you need to be taking it on? Especially now.
Oh, it might just be a case of, right, you've got your colour set. Now sort of get to work, control the frame, manage the frame. Nothing silly. Is John going to continue to have a dip? There's your answer. Wants to block off that yellow, and he has done. Very clever shot. Yellows are absolutely miserable here. One at the bottom left is horrible. 3 by the middle pocket aren't great. That one's not nice. He's gone for the treble to try and open things up, which would have been a great shot and given himself a sniff. An all eggs in one basket sort of shot from Dave McNamara. He's a very, very good player off the cushions. I don't think that went. You can see how close the yellow had to go to the red there. I think he was trying to just gear that red just to slide off the second rail and into the pocket, but alas, not to be.
Is he going to try and cut this in and chase? It's so tough.
Oh, it's a great effort at the pot. He will continue to dig. It isn't all over here because 4 minutes is certainly long enough for a couple of frames, and a draw certainly isn't the end of the world for Higgins and McNamara. They still have their fate in their own hands in the sense of win, and they're guaranteed at worst a 6-red shootout from their last match. So it's going to keep Jon McAllister honest, and that's why he's going to have a go here. And Jon has a big problem with that red closest to the bottom left corner pocket.
I think he could just open up the 8-ball here and leave the angle on the one bottom right if he wants to. No, he's going to leave the 8-ball where it is because it's tying up a yellow, and I guess the situation of the match here is don't chase anything still. He does have an angle to get short position on the red on the left-hand side, but I think he thinks the right thing to do is not go. You can't argue with that.
No, you can't. And Dave needs to pull out a bit of a heroic clearance here. He will go for it, of course. The yellow just the right of the red there, on the right of the triangle line, I'm pretty sure goes to the bottom right corner. Look to just nudge that red there, and that would have opened up the yellow to the bottom left. And now he really is digging. Now he really is digging. Just a loss of turn. Don't think he's left anything here, unless the red actually goes as well, bottom right. But I think that'd only help Dave, really. No, it doesn't.
Has to find a way of making a very tough finish here. They don't have the next break, so they really do need to get this on the board quickly. Not sure how they're going to do it, though. I suppose he's created a big pocket for a double later on in the visit. It's difficult to get to break out the red and yellow together from this ball. Well, he's going to try and do it off the one down the cushion. This is far from easy.
This is a big shot. Tell you what, if he makes this shot, though, they've got a chance.
Yeah, needs to get some side on this to clip the red.
Yeah, loads of running side. Oh, it's a good effort. Such a tough shot. Should be that. Don't worry about that noise. I'm sure Jon was just for a second there. He's actually played not a brilliant shot.
It's still okay, though, because the red's over the right centre. Drop this in and play the red off the top cushion. You expect him to get that. Okay, it's not easy, but he should make this one.
Yeah, he'll take that. And realistically, that is match over because of the clock. But this will just put a little flourish on it for 4-1. Alas, not to be. Dave McNamara is going to try and keep Treacy and McAllister honest here. They do have the next break, so it really is a tough test. It just shows how quickly Dave McNamara can move. And it goes, so 5 seconds. Oh, cue ball didn't stop, so 1 second. My apologies. So 1 second left. The only way this match can be drawn is with a golden duck. But fair play to Dave McNamara. He really showed us how quick he can move there. I've not seen Dave move that quick. Since Fernando's opened up to the bottom.
I was waiting for what was coming.
That was a super effort from Deej. Really, really good.
Yeah, the only thing that he did wrong there in terms of making the quick finish is he allowed that cue ball to roll. You got to drop that last ball in dead weight and let the cue ball like stop quickly. He couldn't play a stun shot because he had too much angle. But he did manage to just keep a second on the clock. So I guess it's anything but a golden duck here. I mean, essentially, it don't really need to even. I mean, a foul break here is fine as well. I mean, he won't. You've got to try and beat the 3-point rule, but it will be fine.
And that does it. No golden break, so no draw. Conor Treacy and Jon McAllister get the job done, and with that, put themselves in pole position in this second stage group. They have 1 foot in the final 4.